G'day Zwifters, I'm keen to get back into ZRL, so let's line up for race 5 of round 3 of the Zwift Racing League. We're continuing our trip down memory lane with ZRL taking us back to Richmond's Cobbled climbs for the predictable second points race of round 3. We last visited this course in December of 22, and this will be just the third time we've raced this course. And before anyone pipes up and complains about this race, back then, A's and B's did 5 laps, 46 kilometers, while C's and D's raced 4 for 36.8 kilometers. And it was uphill in both directions and simultaneously scorching hot and blistering cold at the same time. You kids don't know how good you've got it now. I'm going to set this up for all levels, dissect the 2-point scoring segments, and talk power-up strategies. We're going to discuss bike choices. Do we have a new number 1 for this race? Wheel sets, and get into workouts and talk a little bit about nutrition. So sit tight and get ready. This is your round 3, race 5 Recon. Course overview. The Cobbled Climbs is one of those courses you love to hate. I mean, love or hate. This course will demand repeated efforts whether you like it or not. For A and B categories, you'll be racing 4 laps covering roughly 37 kilometers with about 530 meters of elevation. And for C and Ds, it's 3 laps, about 28 kilometers with just over 400 meters of climbing. A's and B's will take between 11 and 14 minutes per lap, and C's and D's will take between 14 and 18 minutes plus per lap. There are 2-point scoring segments on every lap. The first is the Libby Hill Comm, short, steep, and decisive. It's 640 meters long at 6%, or is it? The second is its shorter, uglier sibling, 23rd Street. It's 260 meters at about 10%. Both segments award foul points for every lap and FTS points for the fastest times over the whole race, which means the real challenge isn't hitting one good effort, it's staying on your grip long enough to get the most points you can. Of course, like other points races, targeting FAL points should be your top priority, and don't forget the finishing points too. Power-ups. In this race, power-ups are awarded at 3 different locations and they're randomly assigned. The 3 locations are the lap banner, as soon as you start right out of the pens, the Libby Hill Comm banner, and the 23rd Street Sprint Comm banner. And the power-ups are the Ghost, the Burrito, the Draft Boost, and the Aero. Seriously, the Ghost and the Burrito will make things interesting, especially for savvy, experienced riders, and the Draft and the Aero will help bridge gaps and get over the top. Could we have benefited from the Steamroller and the Feather? Yes. Could this race be slightly easier without the Burrito and the Ghost? Also yes. But you get what you get and you don't get upset. All right, let's break this course apart and see where we can find those extra points. Section 1, 0 to 4.7 kilometers, opening run-in. This opening stretch is fast, mostly flat, a bit boring and deceptively expensive. The road isn't doing much, which is exactly why fresh riders will burn extra energy without realizing it. Everyone's keen, everyone wants position, and nobody wants to be caught napping when they reach the hairpin. Front group, the top 20%. Your job is presence without aggression. Stay near the front, but don't force the pace yet. You're not winning anything here. You're making sure you don't get the door closed on you later. Staying in the top 20% for the first lap is crucial. There are lots of points on offer in future laps, so calm positioning beats early heroics. Mid-pack, 20 to 40%. I've been saying that discipline pays, and this race is the best example of this. Let the race come to you. Don't chase every acceleration. Surf wheels instead and be as efficient as possible. You want to exit this section in touch, breathing, and importantly, thinking clearly. Second half finishes, the rest of the field. Your win here is staying connected each lap. Find your group, the bigger the better, and sit right in. There'll be plenty of newbies to this course who are keen to flex. Let them. And everyone remember, nothing important happens here unless you make it important by panicking. Ride boring, boring is smooth, smooth is fast. Section 2, 4.7 to 6 kilometers, the Libby Hill Comm. The first comm isn't very long, but it's steep enough to stretch the group and expose riders who have pushed a bit too hard too early, didn't warm up properly, and generally haven't watched this recon. FYI, this climb isn't 640 meters, it's actually 740 meters. Front grip. Ride this firm, but no attacks. There's plenty of time for that soon enough. The goal is to thin the front, not detonate your race. But also, nobody gets to the top for free. Keep the power on over the flat into the descent. Many will ease up too soon and spend matches trying to get back on. Mid-pack. Ride your ceiling, not the front grip ceiling. Let a few riders go if needed. It's cheaper than blowing up and losing the group entirely. When the road turns to cobble, there is only 300 meters left. Stand up if you need to, but sit as soon as you cross the banner and spin. Second half finishes. Ride steady, seated and controlled. Each match you save here is an extra handful of points later. Power-ups. The Ghost power-up. Realistically, bin it, fire it, give it to a fan. It's next to useless coming into this segment on early laps. However, if it's the last lap, drift to the back of your group at the top of the climb, ramp the power up and hit the Ghost just before you pass the banner. You'll get 15 seconds to put some time in before the others know what has happened, and this could be enough of a gap. The Burrito power up. There is some draft on this climb, so don't think the Burrito won't help. It only affects the riders behind you, so hit this as the road changes to cobble and listen to the cries of anguish from those behind you as you pull ahead. The draft boost. This can be used anywhere on this climb as you still get a little bit of draft throughout the comm. But if I were to choose a place to fire this, it would be as I go under the rail bridge. Sit in a little, take some deep breaths, and then as the road bends right and the draft boost runs out, punch it. The other spot would be when the road turns to cobble. The Aero power-up. Again, you could use this anywhere, but I think the best spot is to use it just before you cross the banner. It will give you a boost for 15 seconds to help bridge a gap before the downhill or to open a gap over tired legs behind you. Section 3, 6 to 7.2 kilometers, the downhill and the 23rd Street segment. This is a brief transition where the road eases slightly and the group reshuffles. It feels like recovery, but only if you've earned it and only if you can keep the legs turning. Gaps can be solidified here or they can be closed. Front grip. Use this to reset. Check your position, drink, prioritize breathing, and prepare for the next effort. Keep light pressure on the pedals to help clear lactate. Get ready to capitalize on the damage the first climb did. Punch it just before you hit the right-hander so you can take speed into this climb. Mid-pack, this is where you stabilize. Breathe, keep the legs spinning, and stop reacting to every move. If you survived the previous comm, this is your chance to reset mentally and take that confidence into the 23rd Street segment. Start pushing on the second last right-hand turn without smashing yourself. This will help generate momentum into the climb. Stand up as the road turns to cobble and let your body weight fall onto the pedals. It's less than 200 meters to the banner at that point. Second half finishes. This is recovery while moving. Don't sit up completely, but don't chase either. Stay engaged and let the group do the work. Panic will set in and others will put turns in on the front. Let them. Use every inch of their draft until the climb starts. Stand up as the road bends right and keep standing until the road turns to cobbles. This will maximize your momentum into the climb and keep your speed as high as possible. Sit down and spin for the remaining 180 meters. You got this. Power-ups. The Ghost. Hit this at the first right-hand corner, stand up and punch it over the flats until you reach the cobbles. This might panic a few, but others who haven't been paying attention will be dropped. The Burrito, hold on to this bad boy until you reach the 23rd Street banner and fire it just before you cross. The road flattens out, draft is key, and those hanging on to yours by the skin of their teeth will have to keep pressing while you start to recover. The draft boost. Hit this as the road begins to tilt downward after Libby Hill. Sit in and recover, gathering speed. It should run out just as you reach the cobbles on the 23rd Street. Otherwise, wait until just before the banner. The Aero, same as the Burrito. Leave it until the top. Fire it to close your gap or open a new one. Section 4, 7.2 to 9 kilometers. The Forgotten Climb. At just over 600 meters and averaging 5.8%, it catches a lot of riders out who are already on the limit. Front grip, hold position and patience. Don't launch early. Anyone who goes too soon here becomes a lead out for someone else. Mid-pack, this is where timing matters. Stay sheltered, stay seated, spin, but be ready to respond, not initiate. Watch for riders going too soon. Second half finishes, stay smooth and controlled. Keep cadence high to help prevent fatigue. This is not a place to surge. Let others burn matches around you. You'll profit later. Power-ups. The Ghost Power-up. You could use this just before you come into the descent at 7.2 kilometers. Put power down, open a gap into the descent. Difficult to hold this unless it's your last lap, then hold on for dear life. The Burrito Power-up? Hang on to this one until after the climb and the road veers left again. The road is still tilting up, but riders deep in the red will be looking to your draft begging for relief. Don't give it to them. The draft boost? Fire this as you reach the top of the climb, but only if there is a group. It will make that false flat drag to the lap banner a bit easier. But if you are flying solo at this point, just make sure either to fire this or bin it before you get to the lap banner. The aero. You could hit this at the start of the descent. Get to the front and aero tuck. You'll catch others napping and may open a small gap. Otherwise, wait until after the climb before crossing the lap banner to make the most of this on the flat. Section 5, 9 kilometers to the finish. This final 450 meters is brutal. I mean, brutally honest. No terrain tricks, no excuses, just legs and timing and a false flat that seems to drag on forever, especially after 3 or 4 laps. Front group. Punch the Governor Street climb and see who is still there after the road turns left. Assess your situation, especially what power up you have. I'm not going to lie, this will hurt. Give yourself a couple of moments to take a sip of water and then go at the 300 meter mark when you pass the first crosswalk. Remember, the road is dragging up at 2%, which will cause this sprint to feel harder and longer than it should. Those that go earlier will detonate before the finish without realizing why. Check my comments about power-ups, especially the aero if you have it. Mid-pack. This is where your discipline and pain pays off. Other riders in your group have been surging and going too hard in spots where they didn't need to, whilst you sat in and spun. Now's the time to put them to the sword. Spin up Governor Street while staying seated. Cadence 90 and above, as you will need to hold on to whatever energy you have left. As you get to the top, turn left, stand up. The road is still pitching up at 4%, and this will give you a chance to extend a small lead and then sit down for a few seconds whilst others panic and surge to catch up. You recover slightly, they don't. Go after you pass the second crosswalk. Second half finishes? Every wheel you pass is a victory and a valuable team point. Ride strong, and if the other riders in your group want to give you their points, let them. Like your mid-pack teammates, stay seated on the climb coming into this section, but keep the power high. This will require an above FTP effort, so just know that. Keep pressing as you reach the bend, stand if you can for a couple of extra kicks, then settle. Others will surge around you, which is exactly what you want, draft. Allow them to lead you to the victory line, and as you cross the second crosswalk, give it everything you've got. Power-ups. Honestly, the power-ups in this race will be the deciding factor. The Ghost. This power-up will stop working within 400 meters of the finish line, even if you fire it just before then. If you have this, hit it just before the left-hand turn. This is your 15-second sprint window. If you do it right, you should get far enough ahead that the chasers won't benefit from your draft. Psychologically, they may let go and battle it out for minor places. Burrito? Leave this one until you start your sprint. It's essentially the opposite of the aero in that it won't help you, but it will negate the draft benefit of those behind you. Apologize to your teammates later. Draft boost. Hit this at the 400 meter point. It should time out perfectly, just as other riders who hit their aero power up time out, slingshotting you to the front and across the line. Aero boost. The blue ribbon power up. The confidence of having this in your back pocket should be more than enough to take this race out. Hit it after passing the second crosswalk. Not before, not just as, after. Then go full gas. If you're in this position, this is your finish and your points to take. Enjoy. Fatigue management. The Cobbled climbs doesn't punish riders with one decisive blow. It wears you down by forcing repeated, short, high-cost efforts with almost no true recovery. For A and B riders, fatigue management is about postponement. You're trying to delay the moment fatigue becomes muscular instead of aerobic. Front group. Your risk is doing too much work. Keep cadence 85 to 95 RPM on the climbs and 90 to 100 RPMs on flatter sections. Grinding out low cadence may feel powerful, but it accelerates leg fatigue, and that will surface one lap later. Spin early, shorten your efforts, and stay smooth. Mid-pack. Cadence is your warning light. If it drops below 80 to 85 RPM repeatedly on climbs, you're riding above your sustainable level. Sit, spin, and let others surge. Staying attached one more lap is your goal. Second half finishes. Your priority is consistency. Ride climbs seated at 80 to 90 RPM. Avoid unnecessary standing spikes and consolidate groups. Fatigue here is driven by panic accelerations. Resist. Boring is smooth and smooth is fast. C and D categories, 3 laps. With fewer laps, fatigue hits earlier. Front group. You can afford one aggressive lap, but cadence must stay fluid. If cadence collapses on lap 2 or 3, you'll end your race. Mid-pack. Lap 2 is decisive. Maintain 85 to 95 RPM wherever possible and fuel before you feel empty. Second half finishes. Smooth cadence and restraint will move you forward as others implode. Bike frame and wheel choices. Similar to the first points race of this round on Harrogate, this race does make it difficult to choose a good, suitable bike and wheel combination. The climbs are sharp but short, which means that an overall climbing rig might help a little, but it's going to cook you on the flats, especially if you're more of a diesel or a sprinter. Similarly, a full aero setup, especially with disc wheel sets, might have you burning more matches on the climbs. I think this race demands a good all-rounder leaning towards aero. The climbs are difficult, but they aren't long. You'll get more bang for your buck on the flats. So let's dive in and see which bikes you should be looking at. Stage 0 frames. Number 1, the Pinarello Dogma F24. Number 2, the Canyon Aero Road 2024. And number 3, the Tron. Stage 5 upgraded frames. Number 1, S-Works Tarmac SL8. God, you just can't go past it really. Number 2, the Cannondale Super 6 Lab 71. And number 3, back again, the Pinarello Dogma F24. The Tron works just as well. It's still faster than these Stage 5 bikes on the flats, but loses time on the climbs to the SL8. But that's climbing for an hour, not a short 90-second punch. As for wheels, the discs will cost you on the climbs, I think, not necessarily in time, but in matches. Having said that, if you are a monster, knock yourself out. For the rest of us, I'd go with number 1, the SES MV 4.5 Pros, number 2, the DT Swiss 65s, and number 3, the SES MV 7.8. And what am I going with as a mid-weight sprinter diesel? Well, I'm going to be going with the Dogma and the NV 4.5 Pros. Workout suggestions. Another tough route to recommend workout for. For this race, I have 3 great suggestions. Number 1, the 3x3x2 minute VO2 max. 49 minutes, 3 out of 5 effort and 59 stress points. Level moderate. Why is this good? Many aspects of racing require these zones, from attacking to covering to hanging on. Think of the red zone as the finishing sprints. Number 2, 6x2 VO2 max. 62 minutes, 3.5 out of 5 effort and 77 stress points. Level difficult. Why is this good? This one is similar to the duration of this race with a mixed start. The red 2-minute efforts will prepare you for the punchy climbs without giving you time to fully recover before going again. And number 3, seated and standing. 74 minutes, 4.5 out of 5 effort, and 106 stress points. Level impossible. I mean, very difficult. Why is this good? I don't know. But this workout's repeated 2.5-minute efforts are ideal for attacking the climbs over and over again. Staying seated for the first 90 seconds and then standing up and punching over the top. Nutrition and race notes. I've revamped the race notes and included an improved suggested nutrition plan leading into this race. And yes, it can definitely be found using the link below. So that's the Cobbled climbs. Multiple laps, punchy climbs, and absolutely zero room for mismanagement. This race isn't won by one big move or one heroic segment. It's won by the riders and teams who manage fatigue, cadence, and positioning better than those around them. If you're in the front group, remember, control beats chaos. If you're mid-pack, staying relevant equals points. And if you're usually finishing in the second half, this course gives you more points opportunities than you think. And as long as you don't burn your matches too early. If this recon helped and you feel a little more enthusiastic and a little less stressed, make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and I'll see you in race 6.